Hello students, today we shall see the next point of the chapter, that is the kernel. In the last lecture we have seen what is a shell. So as you can see in the diagram, at the basic level, that is at the lowest level, is the computer hardware. Above the computer hardware is the Linux kernel, that is nothing but the operating system programs of Linux. The operating system programs of Linux can directly deal with the hardware, as you can see the arrow shown over here. The Linux kernel will take the instructions and execute. It will take the instructions from the shell and from the application programs. The user can give instructions to the shell. In return, the shell will give it to the kernel. Kernel will tell the hardware to execute the instruction. It will execute the instruction, give the output to the kernel, which will be shown on the shell. The user can also give directly instruction to the kernel with the help of user applications. So the user cannot directly deal with the computer hardware, nor can it directly deal with the operating system programs. The core of the Linux system is the kernel. The kernel controls all the hardware and software on the computer system, allocating hardware when necessary and executing software when required. The kernel is primarily responsible for four main functions. These functions are similar to that of the operating system functions: system memory management, software program management, hardware management, and file system management. So these functions we have already seen in our operating system video lectures. The kernel is a program that constitutes the central core of a computer's operating system. It has complete control over everything that occurs in the system. The kernel can be contrasted with a shell, which is the outermost part of an operating system and a program that interacts with user commands. The kernel itself does not directly interact with the user, but rather interact with the shell and other programs, as well as with the hardware devices on the system, including the processor, memory, and disk drives. Another name for kernel is the nucleus. A kernel is the lowest level of easily replaceable software that interfaces with the hardware in computer. It is responsible for interfacing all your applications that are running in user mode down to the physical hardware and allowing processes known as servers to get information from each other using inter-process communication, that is IPC. The only aim of the kernel is to manage the communication between the software, that is user level application, and the hardware, that is the CPU and the disk memory. The first Linux kernel released to the public was version 0.01, dated 14th May 1991. It has no networking, run only on 80386 compatible Intel processors and PC hardware, and had extremely limited device driver support. The kernel decides who will use the resources and for how long, and when the kernel acts as an intermediary between the computer hardware and various applications. The kernel is so named because, like a seed inside a hard shell, it exists within the operating system and controls all the major functions of the hardware, whether it's a phone, laptop, server, or any other kind of computer. So Linux operating system nowadays are used in our phones, our laptops, and all other different servers. So with this we finish with the point Linux kernel. Next we'll move on to the last point of this video lecture, that is Linux file system. A Linux file system is a structured collection of files on a disk drive or a partition. Now what is a file system? All the files are stored in our hard disk. It is been stored in some specific format or some specific structure. When these files are togetherly saved on the disk drive on some partition, maybe C drive, D drive or E drive, it is saved on some particular structure, and that structure is the Linux file system or file system of any operating system. A Linux file system is structured collection of files on disk drive for a partition. The Linux file system contains the following sections. So all the computers which has the Linux operating system will have these three basic things in the file system. The main thing is that there will be only one root directory, that is denoted by a slash. This is the first root directory which will be created by the file system, and all others will be the subdirectories in this root directory. A specific data storage format. To store the files onto the hard disk, a specific format is followed by the Linux file system. And the third thing, partition or logical volume having a file system. The hard disk will be divided into partitions or logical volumes for having a file system. Linux file system is generally a built-in layer of a Linux operating system used to handle the data management of the storage. It manages the file name, file size, creation date and much more information about a file. Linux file system has a hierarchical file structure. This is the most important thing, as you can see in the previous diagram, that there is a root directory, and under this root directory you have the different subdirectories. So this is known as the hierarchical file structure, as it contains a root directory and its subdirectories. All other directories can be accessed from the root directory. In Linux, the file system creates a tree structure. So there will be only one root directory, that is the topmost node. The topmost directory is called the root directory. A file system is a logical collection of files on a partition or disk. Everything in Linux is considered to be a file, including physical devices such as DVD-ROMs and USB devices. The most important thing in Linux operating system is that everything is considered to be a file. Even an hardware device is considered as a file. So we shall see now each directory in detail of the hierarchical tree structure. The first itself is the root directory, which is denoted by a slash. This in every operating system which has a Linux operating system, its file system will be started with the root directory, that is a forward slash. This is the root directory which should contain only the directories needed at the top level of the file structure. This is the most important directory in the Linux file system. After that, we are going to have the bin subdirectory inside the root directory. So that is why it is denoted as slash and bin. So it is the bin subdirectory under the root directory. This is where the executable files are located. So remember that all the executable files will be stored in this bin subdirectory. These files are available to all users. It contains binaries, that is some of the applications and the programs you can run. So just like in Windows operating system, we have the folder of programs which have all the executable files. Similarly, this bin subdirectory of Linux operating system will have all the executable files. So first comes the root directory. Under root directory comes the first subdirectory, that is bin. Bin stands for binary. Next is dev, that is dev or device file, which comes in the root directory. So root directory and then the device. These are device drivers. It contains device files. So all the hardware devices which are connected to your computer will have their device driver programs. So these programs will be found in the folder /dev, that is /device. Next is /etc, that is root directory. The next subdirectory is etc. It stands for everything to configure. E stands for everything, T to C configure, etc everything to configure. It contains supervisor directory commands, configuration files, disk configuration files, valid user list, group Ethernet, hosts, etc. So when you are going to start your machine, whatever files will be required to configure your system will be found in this folder or this subdirectory, which comes under the root directory, that is etc. Next are all the library files. You know what are library files? You have seen library files in C and C++. Library files are again found under root directory. It contains shared library files and sometimes other kernel related files. It is where libraries live. So all the library functions, library files will be found in this library subdirectory. Libraries are files containing code that your applications can use. Next directory, subdirectory, is the boot directory, which is again found in the root directory. It contains files for booting the system. So when you put on your machine, the system will start booting. That is shifting the operating system programs to hard disk to RAM and making the system ready for the use is known as booting. If you mess up one of the files in here, if you mix any of the files in this boot subdirectory, you may not be able to run your Linux and it is a pain to repair. So if you do any mischief with the files in this subdirectory, your Linux operating system will crash. Next is home directory. Contains the home directory for users and other accounts. Users' home directories contain saved files, personal settings, etc. Each and every user which logs into the Linux operating system will find his data on this particular home directory. One user will not be able to access the data of another user's home directory. Next is the temporary TMP, which is again a subdirectory under root directory. It holds temporary files used between system boots. The files and directories contain data that an application does not need right now, but you may need it later on. So all the temporary files are stored in this TMP folder. Next is the user subdirectory, used for miscellaneous purposes and can be used by many users. Includes administrative commands, shared files, library files and others. Secondary hierarchy for read-only user data. Contains the majority of user utilities and applications. It contains binary files, library files, documentations and source code for secondary level programs. In this subdirectory you can have another more subdirectories. One is under the root directory you have the user subdirectory. Again in the user subdirectory you can have your bin directory. So contains binary files for user programs. Same we can have sbin as a subdirectory. it contains binary files for system administrator. /local contains user programs that you install from source, and /src holds the Linux kernel sources, header files and documentation. So this is the only directory which can have its subdirectories. Next is the sbean. Contains binary executable files for system administrator. So S stands for system. So all the binary files or the executable files which will be required for system administration will be included in this subdirectory. It contains application that only the super user will need. Now super user is nobody but a system administrator, that is a person who gives the login details, creates the logins and gives the permissions to the users. Next is the var subdirectory. Typically contains variable length files such as log and print files and any other type of files that may contain a variable amount of data. So all these files will contain variable amount of data, that is why the name var, that is variable. This subdirectory can also have its subdirectories. For example, log contains things like logs. Logs are files that register events that happen on the system. Means once you log into the system and you start using the system, all your things which are done on the systems get recorded, and these are stored in these log files. If something fails in the kernel, it will be logged in a file, in this particular file. So next time when you go through when the system crashes, you can go through this log file to see what was wrong. Next is /mail. In this place where all incoming mails are stored. User can access their own mails only. We cannot access other users' mails. And last is the kernel directory, which contains all the operating system programs or operating system files. Thank you.